Walk into almost any curriculum planning meeting in August, and you will hear the exact same anxious math. Teachers look at the calendar and try to figure out how they are going to cram an endless list of standards, chapters, and units into the days before summer break. We rush through the textbook because we are terrified of our students falling behind. But that instinct to cover everything is exactly what causes them to learn less. This compares U.S. curriculum with top-performing nations. The American bar is sliced into dozens of tiny topics, while other nations focus on a few large blocks. Countries teaching fewer topics to total mastery score much higher than those racing through double the material. Treating a curriculum like a checklist to conquer creates a false sense of progress. It gives the appearance of learning while ensuring students retain almost nothing. There is a biological reason why this happens. It comes down to the natural limit on how much new information a brain can handle at one time. Working memory can hold only a handful of new ideas at once. Push more content through faster than a brain can consolidate it into long-term memory, and the system jams. The excess information simply evaporates. Rushing through material doesn't create fast learners. It guarantees that the information will be gone by the time you start the next unit. To find a better way, look at the difference between these two images, a wide puddle and a deep well. Traditional coverage is the puddle. It stretches across a huge area very quickly, but because it's so thin, it evaporates by the afternoon. Mastery is the well. It takes much longer to dig and covers far less ground, but the water you find there stays for years. The speed of a classroom is actually a form of practice. When we spend every day sprinting to the next chapter, we are training students in the habit of skimming a surface and then moving on. If we want to form students with the patience and humility to wrestle with difficult truths, we have to give them time to practice that. Depth gives them the chance to sit with an idea until it actually changes how they see the world. It can feel reckless to skip chapters you've always taught, but the research gives you permission to cut up to 40% of your unit content to make room for that kind of depth. To do this successfully, you can run every single topic in your plan through a simple 3-question filter. First, the 5 years from now test. Ask yourself, will a student actually need to know this specific fact 5 years after they leave your class? Second, the double fruit test. Does this topic encourage both intellectual growth and a specific quality of character, like honesty or wonder? Third, the elsewhere test. Is this something the student could easily pick up later on their own or through a very quick review? Using these filters is a way to separate the life-changing ideas from the extra weight often found in a standard textbook. Here is a traditional middle school history unit. It asks students to memorize 12 different dates and figures in a single sequence. When we run it through the filter, 5 topics disappear. This leaves 7 essential lessons with plenty of room to breathe. This saved time is then put back into the work that actually makes learning stick, like a structured debate or a quick review session, where students have to practice pulling facts from memory. These activities are designed to stop the way our brains naturally lose information over time. Usually, we forget new facts almost as soon as we hear them, but when we use that extra time for practice over several days, the knowledge becomes much more durable. By choosing to teach fewer facts and spending more time using them, your students end up keeping far more knowledge than they would in a race to the finish. You might worry that parents will think you aren't covering enough, or that standardized test scores will drop. The best way to handle this is to be clear with parents about your goal. Explain that you are doing less so their child will actually keep more. Because ultimately, our job is to dig a well. We aren't just looking for students who can recite when something happened. We want to form students who can explain why it matters. You have permission to stop sprinting across the puddle and start digging the well.